Make no attempt to reload your device. You are now entering the Hellhole.
We're alive, pal. Welcome back to the Hellhole. Just settling in, checking all those levels. We're back. Things are about as good as they're gonna get. Tired, grizzly, feeling the years, but we reconvene for a little bit of a tradition we're developing here in the Hellhole of checking out some of the latest and greatest video game trailers. And after leaving off last month, a whole heap of interesting things came out, so we got some nice variety this time. I guess we might as well just jump right on in here. You can see the moon bright and big on the left of your screen, which can only mean it's Vampire Survivors Operation Gun, which is something that I'm excited about. I've already purchased it. I got in real early. I got it nice and cheap. You know, that's one of the great features of the Vampire Survivors game. If you head to the Hellhole archive, you can see I've been playing a whole lot of Vampire Survivors over the last year. Finally doing some PC gaming. This is new for me, but that's, you know, something of significance. Leave a pin in that one. Operation Gun is, like I said, it's the new DLC, and your eyes don't deceive you. This is like official Konami Contra DLC, which is really interesting. I have not played it. I'm saving it for maybe the next stream. You know, I'm going to check it out and give my live impressions then, but right now, it's about the hype, and the hype is real. This all looks great, really intuitively sort of adapting the staples of the Contra genre. You've even got a bit of like Contra Hardcore in there. The characters, the weapons, the style, the levels, adapted for the Vampire Survivors, the base kind of like foundation that it offers, which is really exciting, kind of doing what Vampire Survivors has already done for Castlevania. Now it's doing it for Contra, and it's interesting. It sort of opens the window now to more... you know, like a branded DLC and crossover DLC and stuff like that, which is actually kind of interesting. Vampire Survivors is a great example of a franchise that has created something new out of its very referential material. Obviously, we can all see it's massively influenced by Castlevania itself, but it's sort of adapted a few other influences here and there. And I think I want to see more developers do this. Vampire Survivors, somewhat modest beginnings. I would love to see maybe bigger developers and stuff like that. We're always looking. We're hungry for new IP. We want successful IP, and it was kind of you know, it's not necessarily a market that was desperately empty. Konami and oh man, I should have done my research. Who makes Castlevania? Is that Konami? That's Konami, isn't it? I'm checking. Verifying that I have any idea what I'm talking about right now. Yeah, Konami. Yeah, so Konami really dropped the ball in a grand tradition in recent sort of years where all of their major franchises were dropped. Castlevania was one of them. You've got the Bloodstained series filling that void. You've got incredible amount of indie games really doing that sort of Castlevania, Metroidvania style regularly. But, you know, Vampire Survivors did it well. It did it with a new format, a new medium. I really enjoyed the game. Like I said, check it out in the archive. I I've been having a great time playing that game. Looking forward to getting back to it. Really curious to see exactly what's involved in the Contra Operation Gun DLC. I do know, I fired it up because I was curious. I want to make sure my DLC was downloaded successfully, all that kind of stuff. And from what I could see, none of the Contra characters were actually available yet. So I'm going to have to actually play the Contra levels to unlock the Contra characters in much the same way you unlock any characters in Vampire Survivors. So that's going to be really interesting. It's not just straight up buying characters and playing them. I don't think it's going to be very hard to unlock some of the basic characters that you kind of see, your Rambo type, your Commando type. I think they'll be pretty easy to get. I'm really excited about the werewolf guy from Hardcore, I think it is. So that's going to be cool to see how that goes. Looks like it's still basically the same Vampire Survivors, but maybe introducing some slight new gimmicks, new weapons, and that's been one of the joys of Vampire Survivors. It's really a game of abundance. There is a tremendous amount of material there to access already, and then with these DLC packages, it's just continually expanding it. And it is the kind of game where, like I said, I really enjoyed the way that they took their inspirations, their influences, and developed something new out of it. But at the same time, if they're going to be open to more collaborations like this, it could be interesting to see how other things adapt. My mind is going to some of the comic book references we're going to see in some of the other trailers. Be interesting to see how some of those characters would fold into Vampire Survivors. Maybe certain, six claws maybe on the fists, that kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of laser vision, maybe some lightning. I guess some of these powers are already in there, so maybe it wouldn't be that interesting. But I don't know. I think Operation Gun's going to be a lot of fun, and this is one where I am actually going to follow up. I am going to check this out and see if I can have some fun with it. I think it's going to be great. But that's not the only thing coming out of Vampire Survivors, so we might as well just switch on over straight into it. This one doesn't affect me, but it did affect me previously. It took me a while to get to Vampire Survivors, and you might be thinking, well, like, you're just getting into Vampire Survivors. Why is it so recent? Well, it's because, I wasn't PC gaming initially when it came out, so I was very interested. I think I read about it, like on game sites and stuff, even maybe just before it got a full release. I could be mistaken, but so I was pretty early to it. Definitely thought Vampire Survivors looked incredibly intriguing, a lot of fun, but I was really hoping it would be on PlayStation. That's where I was hoping to play it. Seems to be, certainly they're pulling on references from Symphony of the Night, things like that. So I was rooting for a PlayStation release. It didn't come, but it is finally going to come. So it's going to be on PS4, PS5. You can see the Operation Gun DLC is kind of like folded in, I guess, to this version of the trailer. I didn't really realize that, but it's going to be great for PlayStation players who haven't made the leap to finally be able to. It came to Nintendo Switch. I believe it's on Xbox, and Xbox have that relationship with PC. The PC nerds pretending they got a console. Let's not do the Xbox trash talking just yet, but it's going to be great. I don't know if I'm going to bother getting another copy on PlayStation. It'd be interesting to see what the prices are like. I haven't really looked into that, but I imagine they'll be pretty reasonable because that is one of the features of Vampire Survivors. Really, it's a very cheap game. You get an abundance of stuff. And I feel like the DLC is really cheap as well. Everything is low. There is that sort of, how much of it is kind of like your slot machine kind of stuff. And I believe I was informed that there is some history with the developer and sort of slot machines or gambling sort of games. But I don't feel like Vampire Survivors is exploiting the player the way some DLC systems might be inclined to. Certainly there's going to be games that we're looking at a little bit later from here where, I don't know that everybody's totally on board with the DLC cost and the prices and stuff, but this is really great just to see that it's coming to PlayStation. I feel like it's going to be very much at home at PlayStation, and it should be able to run just fine, you would think. Hopefully they'll make sure that the quality control is there. I don't know how it is on Nintendo Switch, but I presume it's pretty good. I don't know that serious compromises have been made on Switch, so just good to see it on PlayStation. A little late for me because I couldn't wait. I got a new PC. I'm streaming on it right now, talking to you on it, and once that entered the fray, it was kind of like time to download Steam, time to get into some of these games, particularly. Vampire Survivors was one that I was wanting to play that for quite a long time, so it was nice to finally be able to get to that. And again, make sure you head to the Hellhole archive, search for Vampire Survivors. If you're on YouTube, search for Hellhole Vampire Survivors. Hopefully that'll get you to me and the channel we call the Hellhole, and You won't even have to ride the Lost Highway that I make you ride 90 seconds at the beginning of every stream. Lets me settle in. What can I say? Check it out. Go see my plays, and soon enough, I'll be playing Operation Gun. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to discovering it. Now, I was alluding to the potential for a comic book crossover. I'm thinking of X-Men. Here it is. They're making the big collaboration with Rocket League, which this was one of those trailers that dropped right after we did the last round of game trailers. We're sort of doing this roughly monthly. It's still blowing my mind. There's something cool to check out regularly. I'm curious, can we go a full year where I'm finding trailers for things that I'm interested in? So this is this collaboration has already been and gone, I guess. I don't know if you can still get it in the store maybe, but really intriguing. I don't necessarily... It's a little bit weird in my mind. The cars have the X-Men sort of costume motifs, which is fun. I like the vivid colors, the real sort of like flat colors. Check out the Storm, Gambit, They've successfully adapted the color palettes and some of the design features of the characters' costumes. That's really cool. The Wolverine ones reminded me of the cheesy toys that they would put out for the action figures. Never really got into the vehicles of those. They were always a little bit corny. I like action figures. What can I say? I love X-Men. X-Men 97 is looking really interesting. I keep every time it comes up, I sort of bristle about the quality of the animation, the CG, and people like to say that they've tried to adopt some of the limitations of 90s animation. I really push back against that. It's certainly not emulating the style of the 90s cartoon, which was very much inspired by the Jim Lee. Scott Williams inks? But very much the Jim Lee X-Men look. There were some of those like weird outlier episodes where they were animated by different studios, different house, and I don't like those episodes. I think they look really cheap and really nasty. The X-Men 97 series doesn't emulate those lesser episodes, but to me it does have, at least in a lot of the previews, it has a lesser animation style. When you see it in motion, particularly for action scenes, I think the X-Men 97 animation is really... it's coming through. You're getting like great stuff, and people have been really excited about things like the Nightcrawler fight scene, which sort of takes what they did in the X-Men 2 live action film in that opening sequence in the White House, and it just takes it to another level. He's got two swords. He's got a sword in his tail. Really getting the most out of Nightcrawler, which was exciting because Nightcrawler is like one of my favorite comic X-Men, and I love the Nightcrawler episodes in the classic 90s series, so it's cool that he's in there. Some cool stuff with Magneto and all stuff, and they're pulling in the comic references, which is great. We love that. Head to the Hellhole, check out some of the comic stuff going on there now. But does it fit into Rocket League easily? I wouldn't say that it does. It's a little bit of an unnatural fit, but hey, it's colorful, it's exciting, and I like the color palette. It's a little bit like feels like a Hot Wheels thing where it's a little bit nonsense. I don't know. I don't think it's great. But it does bring to mind, what would it be like to have the X-Men in something like Vampire Survivors? That could be really interesting. I'm thinking of I think a lot of the abilities already in Vampire Survivors could probably actually fit the X-Men because you got Storm's lightning in there. You got some blade slashes. You just got to triple it up for Wolverine, that kind of stuff. Cyclops' heat vision is probably something equivalent in there. They could always just whip something up. It might be interesting to see like X-Men, Avengers, and Vampire Survivors, but I don't know. There's superheroes have invaded so many things that I'm reluctant to go that way. I like what they've done, and maybe a Konami franchise like Contra fits the Vampire Survivors mold, and it does sort of open the window. Will they do Castlevania legit DLC before Vampire Survivors ends? We got to see Dracula in there. We got to see some vampires. It'd be interesting if it was an adaptation of the Castlevania Dracula, the Blue Beast kind of thing. That might be interesting if there was the multiple phases when they finally get Dracula. But we're not talking about Vampire Survivors right now. We're talking about Rocket League, a game that I would like to return to. There's been a bit of a drought, but again, if you go to the Hellhole archive, you can see Getting Even with Rocket League. If you just search for Getting Even with Rocket League, hopefully you'll find the playlist, and it's me trying to get to 50% because early in my Rocket League playing, I didn't know how the game worked at all, and my percentage really suffered early on. So I could see 50% wins was within reach, and I started doing that. So hopefully we'll get another one of those going soon. There were a lot of delays sort of earlier this year, so we kind of got derailed there. We got some other things coming in the Hellhole, but really cool to see just see these colorful car designs. I dig that. If I'm playing playing Rocket League, I'll enjoy playing against a nice, bright, sort of vivid primary colored car. That could be fun. Moving on to Fall Guys. This one I've already played, so if you head to the Hellhole archive, you will definitely find me playing the Fall Forever update. You can get some real impressions. I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I think some of my attempts to get into the game were unflattering, but at the same time, the Fall Guys people have come out since then and have said that they've got to change some things, so they're making changes based on fan feedback. For me, once I got to the knockout rounds, I was a little bit happier, but it is kind of, it was the Fall Guys of old, and I haven't been playing for about 9 months, so I was at least able to see some stages that I didn't know, but regular players will have played those quite a lot. So I was a little disappointed, basically. It even felt like, based on the recent sort of creative era, the build-it-yourself era of Fall Guys, it did feel like that some of that had been scaled quite back. I wasn't able to find things that were really intriguing to me straight away. I don't know if I even really looked at... There's a casual mode now where you can, explore. I'm a little bit conflicted. That casual mode... it gives you points, even though you're just sort of, you've got like a half an hour to wander around and there's no competition to it. I don't know if you should be really getting a lot of rewards out of that. To me, that's a little bit of a little too much of a nerfing of the Fall Guys thing. And I do feel like Fall Guys has drifted from the things that made it so great. Its central concept, its competitive style, its sort of like Battle Royale 60. I think they've dropped the average player size just to be able to get the game rolling and get you into games quickly, but and maybe there's an issue with the player base. I'm not sure. There's always been a bit of a trolling thing of saying it's a dead game. Just play the game, man. I still like Fall Guys. I'm really about the races. I like that aspect of it. I was a little disappointed playing it, but I still think there's a core fundamental good game in Fall Guys, and I really enjoy that fundamental aspect. And again, you can find all kinds of Fall Guys. There's a shocking amount of Fall Guys in the Hellhole archive. I didn't even realize I'd played it quite that much on stream. I've been playing Fall Guys probably since the beginning, so I've seen it change a lot. There are still core principles that remain consistent, and it's really good. I just hope it can really connect with those. And I think the key to Fall Guys is you got to maintain a balance, and you really got to keep it simple. And I think maybe they're overcomplicating some things. They're making it too granular, even with the stage design and the fan-made stuff. It's like it's a good thing to have that sort of Mario Maker element, but at the same time, I think they got to get somebody who was involved in those early designs to really sharpen and create some great house events kind of thing. Make those core knockouts and maybe get some more themes going. I felt like granted, I jumped in the day of the update, hours after the update went live, so I got to give them a bit of leeway there, but it did feel like they'd really stripped it back. They'd stripped out the options, and it just didn't feel like a welcoming, enjoyable experience the way it had in previous times. Hopefully they can improve that. I think the potential is there. My favorites are the races, and that brings us to this surprising sort of reveal trailer that popped up for Sonic Rumble. I don't quite know what to make of it. They're looking for US beta testers. I think they're already underway. I almost get the impression, is this Sonic focus sort of Fall Guys, but is there a racing focus? Is this Fall Guys but just the races with a Sonic style? Because that's something I'd be very interested in. That's right up my alley, and it looks fun. It looks cool. I love classic Sonic, so if the stages are based on Sonic, that's going to be great. It looks like it's kind of addressing some of the complaints I had with the Sonic collaboration Fall Guys actually did, where the Sonic stage was just like an arena, and you were running around to get rings. And I felt like it was a little bit tragic that the Sonic collaboration wasn't just a race. I want races. I love races, and Sonic seemed to be the perfect time to do that. It feels like the Sonic, they added the speed boost rings and stuff like that. And I think there's a ball mechanic now as well. And they didn't add that to the Sonic stage. They've sort of applied that to other stages. There's a track and field one, which I'll be looking to play when the Olympics is on. But I guess, I don't know who's actually making this game. I don't know if anyone from Fall Guys is involved. It's a little bit, could they have exploited the Fall Guys Sonic relationship a little bit more, or were the people involved, did they determine that they could do a whole Sonic version of the game? I don't know. That's what it's looking like. This looks to me like it's just pure Sonic guys, you know? So I'm interested. I want to see where it goes. It's definitely something I would check out. The Blue Blur, if I could play as a Sonic character and just take on races, that's going to be really cool. I like the way Sonic is moving, and Sega's got a lot of stuff coming. If you check out some of the previous game trailers sessions we've had, watching the best trailers in the Hellhole, you can go to the archive. We've got I think the playlist is called Talking Trailers right now. I don't really have a name for it. I'm thinking about it though. Can we call it the Hellhole demo disc? I don't know. I've kind of started going for like a PlayStation 2 demo vibe. In any event, let's not talk baseball. Let's talk Sonic. And yeah, I'm interested to see how this develops. This is definitely something that I could see myself playing at some point. But I don't know what the availability is going to be in terms of PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, other consoles, PC. I don't really know what's going on. Right now, the beta is only open to US, so I'm not involved in that. You can be sure as hell I'm not involved in the Marvel Rivals beta because of some of the controversy they've been having in regards to you're not allowed to criticize the game if you're playing the alpha. So, yeah. Just dropping a reference in there. Check out the previous game trailer watches. You know some of my grumbles about Marvel Rivals. I'm sure if I played the game proper, I'd have more grumbles. No real grumbles about Sonic Rumbles, though. That looks pretty good. Let's move on to Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. I love me some Dragon Ball. I haven't really talked about it in the Hellhole lot, but I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I like the Z era, but I've been converted to the early Dragon Ball era, or the late Dragon Ball era. Obviously, I guess in Japan, they probably think of it all as a continuous thing, even though there is sort of a delineation to what we call Dragon Ball Z. Although it kicks in a little bit earlier. Some of the Tenkaichi Budokai, the World Martial Arts tournaments, they're happening in the Dragon Ball era. And to me, that's kind of... There's some good stuff in that last tournament before it switches to Z. This trailer looked really interesting, and it really just caught my eye because it's like the Master and Apprentice trailer. Piccolo is one of my favorite characters. I love Piccolo. I think he's great. I'm digging Master Roshi in here. This is looking really good. I'm always a little bit conflicted about the CG animation style. I accept it more for video games. I don't like seeing it in the new movies. That's really off-putting to me in the new movies, and I guess maybe the Dragon Ball Super series. I don't really like the CG elements in those, but as far as the game trying to emulate the manga or animated style with CG, I think that's perfectly acceptable. I enjoyed some of the Tenkaichi Budokai games. I thought they were good. I haven't really checked out Xenoverse or even Kakarot. I was interested, but I just never got there. I never actually played Dragon Ball Fighters. I was going to say Fighter Z, but Dragon Ball Fighters, which was like a game that was right up my alley. I never got there. Still might get there sometime. It'd be great if there was a disc that was just like the complete edition or whatever you want to call it. That would really please me because I don't want to have to pay for bitsy DLC. I'm not a big DLC fan, even though I am singing the praises of the Vampire Survivors DLC. But check this out. This is cool. A bit of future Trunks, future Gohan, the androids, the evil androids, the one-armed Goku from the ill-fated future that no longer exists, I guess, from Trunks' future before he time travels back and kills Frieza. It's a whole thing. You know, if you don't know your Dragon Ball, this might sound slightly bewildering. Don't worry about it. It's a good time. And this game looks like a good time. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll get to this game, but this is the kind of thing where I'd probably be happy just to throw it in and enjoy the characters. I'm not really like I'm always the first one to confess. I'm not any kind of great fighting game player. I'm a fighting game tragic. Sparking Zero looks kind of cool. And maybe it's going to suit me in that regard. I don't know if that's like, are they all the characters that you're going to get? Surely those aren't all those like hive cells. They can't all be character slots, could they? I guess they could be. Dragon Ball has the roster to fill it out. So I guess, yeah, this is the continuation of the Budokai Tenkaichi series. I think I mostly played the second game on PS2, which I really enjoyed, and this does look like a good continuation of it. I'm really excited. Like I said, Piccolo is my favorite, so I dig him. I like some Tenshinhan. I like a bit of that. Master Roshi's cool. I don't know. Yeah, more Dragon Ball. What can you say? Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama, the great master who left us earlier this year. Sad stuff. we're finishing off. If we're going to go to the fighting zone, we got to go to one of our regulars. It is Tekken 8, and again, after we did that last session with checking out the new game trailers, who drops a massive elbow off the top rope but Tekken 8. For the 30th anniversary, they did a big Season 1 trailer, kind of sizzle reel, getting you hyped for what's coming, what's been. It seems like Tekken 8 still has a bright future. It's a game that I haven't yet played. I have to get to Tekken 8 at some time. I played, I think Tekken Tag 2 is the only one, and maybe I didn't really get into Death by Degrees, but yeah, Tekken 8 obviously looking great, and I think last time we were here, we were looking at Eddie Gordo, or a couple of times ago, Head to the archive, check out Talking Trailers. Hopefully this will serve as an interesting historical document. That's kind of what I hope. In the same way that it's interesting to go back to old magazines, old demo discs. I'm hoping some of these trailer watch-alongs, these reaction sessions, whatever you want to call them, the best game trailers in the Hellhole, I'm hoping that these will be interesting historical records to go back to, because we got some cool stuff. Obviously, this is purely subjective. I'm looking at things that I like. You're allowed to like things that you like, and maybe head to the comments and tell me, some of the things that maybe you think I might have missed. If you think there's something I might be interested in, it could always show up next month, and I'll be happy to shout you out, my pals, my Hellions in the Hellhole. But yes, Tekken 8 looking really superb, and I think last time I was speculating was Eddie Gordo, the last of the DLC. I was having trouble remembering what have we seen in the season pass. Well, as the Season 1 trailer shows you, really we've seen nothing. We've seen nothing yet. Season 1 still has a long way to go. We got new characters coming. I think Lily is making a return, if I'm remembering that correctly. Not doing my research, getting really sleepy and grizzly, forgetting stuff. Obviously, all the story component stuff is really cool, and it'll be interesting to see how they might expand on that. Gonna be interesting. We don't have. I didn't bring any Mortal Kombat 1. There was like a little bit of a Homelander teaser trailer. I'm not really interested in Homelander. I don't really like guest characters. Mortal Kombat 1 is generally disappointing me. For all of those reasons, I opted to leave the Homelander teaser out. Oh yeah, that's right. It's this character. She's looking really cool. I love a martial artist. She's out there doing the Cobra Kai. Lydia. I'm thinking of Lily for some reason. She's already in the game. Lydia, the new character, Lydia. She looks really cool. I like the, she's kind of like on the beach doing the ice break, doing a little bit of a Daniel San, Karate Kid 2, Cobra Kai thing. That works for me, man. I love seeing martial artists. I love seeing these games be all about martial arts, not just, not just baristas and yoga teachers or whatever. Give me some martial artists. Yeah, I want to see some gis. I want to see some fists. I want to see some, like traditional fighting styles represented in the Tekken way. Tekken's always been great at that. Very much. Massively influenced by Virtua Fighter. You can't get away from it. And both of them really owe a huge debt to Street Fighter 2. Love the way they distill their characters. Looking great. Eddie Gordo, just an absolute menace. Just button mashing bots, destroying humanity left and right. I love it. Beautiful. Tekken 3 converted me to Tekken. I was a little bit of a holdout before that. I've been with Tekken, like I said, since then. Didn't play Tekken Tag 2. Never got to Death by Degrees, but I play all the Tekkens. I love the Tekkens. Tekken 7 I was a little disappointed in. I felt like the story mode was really, really weak in that regard. Looks like Tekken 8 has really picked up the tab on that, and I think maybe I heard something about additional story DLC, so that could be interesting. But that's what made me bring up Mortal Kombat 1, because that combat pack has been the DLC that never ends. They said it's going to be the longest support cycle of any NetherRealm Studios game. And even though we're not looking at the Homelander trailer, I'm talking about it because it's never ending. They're finally getting there. Farah is upon us. There's the 1995 Scorpion movie skin that's in there. It's NetherRealm Studios. It's Mortal Kombat 1. I would presume there will be 95 movie skins from maybe Reptile and Sub-Zero at the very least, if not others. I'm curious. They seem to be embracing the 95 film. Ed Boon has a poll up today concerning Cole Young and Art Lean, a little bit of a contest of the upcoming sequel, which just got its release date for October 2025. I would suggest you go check out MortalKombatOnline.com for more news about that. You can chew on the details there, but yeah, it seems to me like, I'm just interested in what is precipitating the support of the 95 Mortal Kombat movie in the game itself. You know, they did it in Mortal Kombat 11. You got the Christophe Lambert, you got Lyndon Ashby and Bridget Sampras, or Bridget Wilson Sampras skins for Raiden, Johnny Cage, and Sonya. That was cool. It did feel a little bit weird because I felt like, you know, if you're going to do movie skins, you got to give me Robin Shaw as Liu Kang. You got to give me maybe Talisa Soto as Katana. You know, you got to give me some of that action too. And it did feel like, where was Scorpion? They've made good on Scorpion. It's kind of, it's becoming a Mortal Kombat thing where they don't quite, you know, I always think of like they put Freddy Krueger in Mortal Kombat 2011 and then they put Jason Voorhees in Mortal Kombat X. Are you insane? Are you kidding me? NetherRealm, how the hell does that happen? That you do Freddy Krueger and you do Jason Voorhees and they're not in the same game? You can't make them fight? Are you insane? Similar but less insulting deal where they didn't do the Mortal Kombat movie Scorpion. Now they've made good on that. I think they'll do more because a lot of the skins in this game, I mean, it's a no-brainer because it's all bitsy color. It's just palette swaps. It's ugly stuff. It's certainly not the Vampire Survivors school of DLC where you feel like you're getting, you know, a smorgasbord, a big array of content that's really satisfying and makes you feel like you've just got quantity up to the eyeballs. You know, Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of like you haven't cleaned your room and it's full of trash. You know, that's what Mortal Kombat 1 kind of feels like. But Mortal Kombat 1 has story mode DLC coming. And so I don't know what's going on there with like Eddie Gordo here. It seems like there's more story stuff coming to Tekken 8. And it'll be great if Mortal Kombat 1 can get past this combat pack, the never-ending combat pack DLC. If they can finally push through that and get to what's next. Hopefully there's something good because it feels just like, you know, Ermac may be tickling at something a little bit better than we've seen so far. Some more story may or may not be good. I don't know. It could be worse. I don't like the multiverse stuff, the multiple timelines. Havoc is one of my all-time least favorite combat characters. I think, you know, we can talk about that more maybe another time. Havoc to me is a lie. If you think you like Havoc, you're mistaken. And actually, you probably don't, because the character will never be fulfilled. And if you were disappointed with Havoc in Mortal Kombat 1, that's going to be an I told you so moment. That was inevitable. Havoc can only ever fulfill the chaos concept if he's non-playable, because fighting games are about order and systems and balance, and Havoc's entire premise is that he breaks that. So the only way that can ever work is if you can't play him. And the story stuff, this guy is not chaos. It's always the totally contrary to chaos. It's lame. The concept will never be cashed in on. You're a disappointment to your parents. Stop it. Just cut it out. Havoc is lame. We all need to accept it and move on. So if there's an entire DLC story mode based on Havoc, I'm going to be a little disappointed. I would love to see Kotal Khan back. His little teaser in the Mortal Kombat 1 story mode, Titan Havoc, sort of got me thinking there was a little bit of an Aztec look, and I'm missing my boy Kotal Khan. He's one of my favorites, you know. Mortal Kombat X really sold me on Kotal Khan. Mortal Kombat 11 made him great, exciting. Look, I don't dispute that it's pathetic that he got his back broken or whatever. He got baned, basically. NetherRealm, what are you doing? You could have a superstar if you just put him over. You got to build new stars, guys. Stop burying Kotal Khan. He could be brilliant. On that subject, go and check out the Mortal Kombat 1 Lucifer timeline where Kotal Khan will be redeemed. My guarantee to you. I don't know. You know, that's just that's how I'm feeling. In any event, this is Tekken 8. It's looking great. If there's more story coming to Tekken 8, that's going to be great. Love to see Eddie Gordo get involved with like Victor and all those kinds of stuff. The sort of espionage. If you can put a little bit more emphasis on martial arts, that would really, really please me. That would really get me excited. That's the kind of thing I like to see. Tekken 8 still a force to be reckoned with. Is Tekken 8 the hottest fighting game right now? It kind of feels like it is. Street Fighter 6 just feels like it's cooled off a little bit. I got to get back to that world tour. I haven't haven't made a big enough dent in that one. So if you go to the archive and search for Street Fighter 6 Hellhole or Hellhole Street Fighter World Tour or whatever, you can find my playthrough. You'll see I'm shamefully behind in that regard. I got to get some of that done. I've been meddling. I've been fiddling with another Street Fighter 6 related thing that might show up in the Hellhole sometime soon. That will be fun. But right now we're looking at Tekken 8. We're looking at all the other games, and this is the last game in our early May selection. Mid-May, we should say mid-May. Going to be interesting to see who else is coming to Tekken 8, by the way. Just seeing the characters there. We've had Eddie, we've got Lydia. You know, I would like to see maybe a bit of Craig Marduk or something like that. You know, that could be a good one. I'm trying to think, like, who's missing? So many characters in Tekken. You know, it'd be great to see a lot of them. I can't really remember who's missing. I guess maybe get some Ganryu in there. I don't think Bruce Irvin is back. He'd be a good one. Maybe really pump him up. Although we've got Fuckum Run now. He'd be a good one to bring back from Tekken 7 DLC. Might be nice to see him again. He was pretty interesting. Bruce Irvin, maybe just because it would mix it up. Who's our winner? I like to sort of think of a winner. I guess, you know, the big headline for me, as much as Tekken 8 is tantalizing, it's kind of Tekken 8 is just forecasting what's coming. We kind of already know about all this stuff. I think my winner is got to be Vampire Survivors Operation Gun. It's DLC that I'm actually going to play. I love this little animated sequence they put together here. You know, what's the potential for like a Vampire Survivors animated series? Could they do what the Castlevania series didn't? Because that Castlevania series, I had a little taste of it. I didn't really like it on Netflix. Netflix is just a massive disappointment to me. I like film. I like, you know, TV. I'm a consumer of these things, but, you know, Netflix just is a hollow, disappointing experience. I'm very curious about Unfrosted. I keep seeing all these takes about Unfrosted, how bad Unfrosted is. I'm an old Seinfeld guy, you know. I'm always thinking of, like, you know, back in the day we would be like referring everyone as Jerry and stuff, and then that guy Tim Rogers was doing the Jerry thing, and I feel like I can't do it now because he's doing it. But we all did it, and it's kind of, I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld again. It keeps worming its way back into the vernacular. And, you know, it's been fun seeing Jerry up and about. I've been watching some of his interviews. He was the man who did too much press on Saturday Night Live. That's great. Like to know maybe what he's funding and what he isn't funding. Somebody might need to ask some hard questions. I don't know what to make of all that. I don't want to really get into it. I don't feel qualified enough to discuss world politics in that regard. But, yeah, Unfrosted is something that I'm curious about. Not curious enough to sign back up to Netflix because there's nothing there, man. There's nothing I want. You know, for the cost of a month of Netflix without ads, or even with ads, I could buy a DVD or a Blu-ray and get something that I genuinely like, that I will genuinely watch whenever I want, as often as I want, for years to come. Netflix can't take it away. They can't change it. They can't edit it. They can't ruin it. They can't strip out licensed music or something. I'm a physical media guy. You know, I actually just got some. I had to finally get the Mortal Kombat Legends cage match. I didn't get that previously, so I got that on sale with. I upgraded my Fifth Element because my DVD's got a little crack in it. Something happened, so I got a Blu-ray, and I was checking out Memories of Murder, which was a nice time. Nice to see something that I haven't seen 100 times. Let's not get lost in that. We might do. I'm kind of like, you know, we're dabbling in. We're dabbling. We're dibbling, we're churning, we're skimming, we're boiling, simmering some of this sort of like reaction stuff, unboxing stuff. I don't know. I got some cheap comics recently, so maybe we'll do that. I'm digging having comics in the Hellhole because that was always that's kind of like, you know, me and comics for my entire life together. A lot of people will know me from the comic book world, maybe through some of my misdeeds and various goings on. Certainly, socially, people always know I got comics in mind. So it's nice to be bringing comics to my desk here in the Hellhole and Hellhole HQ at the end of the Lost Highway. And I'm going to keep doing that. But yeah, it might be interesting just to look at some of the comics I got, because I know that's a thing people do. And, you know, why not share what's going on? I don't consider myself having a collection that's particularly remarkable or anything. But, You know, it was fun to pull out the first X-Men comic I ever got, X-Men Annual number 14. It was nice to follow up the Marvel Snap Thunderbolts challenge by checking out the first appearance of the Thunderbolts in Incredible Hulk 449 and Thunderbolts number 1. I didn't put that in the title, but if you were an eagle-eyed comic fan, if you know your stuff, you would have noticed, hey, wait a second, Baron Zemo isn't unmasked in Incredible Hulk 449. So you would have known from the thumbnail that, yes, I was looking at Thunderbolts number 1 as well. It'd be cool to get some more comics going on in here. There's maybe check out some more X-Men and stuff, and we mentioned a lot of stuff, new Warriors and things like that. I don't know. It's just nice to be in here talking about things that I like and maybe connecting with like-minded people. If you'd like to follow and subscribe and ring a bell and leave a comment and tickle my tummy and rub the back of my ear and tell me I'm a good boy and all that stuff, you go and do that. Tell your mom about what I'm doing. Trust me, she'll want to know. Is that a cancelable reference? I don't know. Should I be talking about these things? It's been real fun checking out these game trailers, and I don't doubt that in the last half of the month there's going to be some cool stuff dropping. Like I said, Mortal Kombat 1's kicking off. You got to think, now that Farah, the cameo, is done, there's just Takashi Takeda left for the DLC. No, there's no more cameo fighters announced. I'm not expecting any more. There were 5 cameos, 6 playable characters. So I'm wondering, will Takashi Takeda arrive with an announcement for what's coming in a Combat Pack 2, or just an Aftermath kind of situation like MK11 where we'll get more story and stuff. So I'm expecting something, maybe end of this month, next month, just to outline what's next for Mortal Kombat 1, which is something that I'm sure we'll be talking about. I'll be looking out for more trailers, and like I said, if there's something going on that you think I might be interested in, hit me up on Twitter at @THellhole. It's just the letter T, the word Hellhole. Hit me up there, or leave a comment on YouTube if you're watching in the archive. Just shout me out anywhere. Just if you're watching this thing now, just leave a comment and say, hey, you might be interested, check this thing out. Maybe you'll follow up on in the next round, maybe next month. We might end up doing another one of these right at the end of the month. I don't know, the timing's a little bit off. I think we were a little bit better when we were doing them right at the end of the month, but I tried to slot it in close to the middle, and it means now we come in, we got things that are a little bit old now that aren't as relevant, and I don't know, we missed some things. We might recalibrate, but yeah, let me know what's cool, and what do you think? What was your winner from this session? Go to the archive, check out the Token Trailers playlist, check out each session, and weigh in the comments. What's your winner? Who was the best in show? For me, this time it was Vampire Survivors, Operation Run. I really like the variety that we had this time, because generally we are living in the fighting game world. Those old franchises that I love, like I said, fighting game tragic, love the stuff. Don't talk about it as much as I do in real life here in the Hellhole, just because I'm not very good, I'm not especially good at the games, so I don't. That can be a little painful to watch, but hey, it doesn't stop me doing anything else. Am I right? Yeah. Sadly, I am very right. I will be playing Vampire Survivors soon. I'll probably be doing some other stuff soon, too. We got to get back to the Mortal Kombat 1 Lucifer timeline. Wrap that up sometime soon. I'm sure Cage Match will be giving me the inspiration to finish off Chapter 14, Chapter 15, and I want to do character endings for all the quote-unquote playable characters. The entire premise is sort of based on the rules of a Mortal Kombat game, and I just tried to come up with an alternative storyline, just creating a new roster to fit that storyline. Not deliberately, but just how it goes when you're creating a story. You can find all that stuff in the Mortal Kombat 1 Lucifer Timeline playlist. All you got to do is search for Mortal Kombat 1 Lucifer Timeline. You'll find it on YouTube. That's one of the YouTube exclusive things over here on Twitch. I've been doing Marvel Snap daily missions every now and then, so make sure you head over to Twitch. Links are in the about section or the description of every video. If you're already on Twitch, head over to the about and you'll get a link to YouTube. Crisscross, get it all, trying to make it all a little bit useful. We got to get those live views up, but God knows I'm not doing anything to actually achieve that. I just go when I'm ready and able. It's been a trying period. I got some family in hospital, and I'm feeling a little bit stressed about that, a little bit, grim, but things seem to be going well. So enjoying, just tuning out, enjoying some of the classic and new exciting things that are going on in pop culture that I enjoy, and sharing it with you, and hopefully you'll engage with me. I'm really just spinning my wheels here, so let's wrap this up. Great to see you guys. Smash the follow, do all that stuff. Have a good time. Adios, amigos. Godspeed.